we doing today? We're going to talk about some horses. We got horses in the barn. We're going to be saddling them up. We're going to be talking about tack a little bit. Tack is the equipment that you use on horses. Tack can be anything from a halter to a saddle. It's any type of equipment that you put on the horse. And so we're going to be talking about that. If you have any horsey friends, or maybe you have a lot of times people who come to the farm, they bring their kids, and the kids want to learn about horses, and so you could have them watch this live with you, and they can learn something. We also have a baby donkey that we're going to show you, very exciting, and then we have one other horse also. We're going to go riding in a little bit once we get the horses saddled up, so you can join us for that as well. So say hey as you're logging in, and let us know where you're tuning in from. What's the weather like where you're at? It has a nice breeze outside today. It's not too hot. I've got a little bit of a sweaty nose, but not too bad. I was like my little temperature gauge here. How much sweat do I have on my nose? And we're doing pretty good. So this is a barrel style saddle. That is, if you've ever heard of barrel racing or rodeo events. So this saddle is designed for that. Typically barrel saddles are going to have a taller horn. So, and the reason why you have a taller, kind of skinnier horn is you don't use it for roping, so it doesn't need to be real stout, like a roping saddle horn. Pretty much all you use it for is when you're going around the barrels, typically you'll hold on to the horn and then use it to kind of pull yourself up and forward as you're going to the next barrel, just to kind of give you a little bit of leverage. But that's all you use it for. And then the cantle, which is this part here, is going to be higher, so that way it holds you in because you're running and doing turns, tight turns around a barrel, so it kind of like sucks your little tush in to the saddle. So that's the shape of this. I'm a huge fan of barrel saddles for kids because it has the same effect, right? It's going to hold you in a little bit better. Another accessory that you could get on your tack is called bucking rolls. It's great for kids. When I was little, my mom put bucking rolls on my saddle, and they're just two big kind of balls almost that sit right here on the saddle that screw into the saddle, and it just holds you in even more. So a lot of times we'll see youth saddles have those bucking rolls, or even like ranch saddles, because guys are using them to break horses, ride yearling horses, and they might get bucked off, and it just holds you in a little bit better. So we're going to go ahead and cinch up. A lot of people don't know this, so you guys are learning something a little different. If you've seen a saddle, a lot of people don't realize that what this little piece does right here. So this is going to be, I forget the technical name of it, but it's just a girth keeper or a cinch keeper. And a lot of people see it and they're like, what does that even do? What's the purpose of this little flappy right here? It is for your cinch. So you buckle your cinch in just like that, so that way your cinch isn't flopping around. Another good advantage of using your girth keeper here is you're not going to have a sweaty cinch sitting on the seat where your pants go, where you sit. And so it's not getting your saddle all sweaty and hairy and all that stuff. So it keeps it off of the seat of your saddle. So, and it also helps maintain the shape of your cinch. So a lot of times what people will do is they'll take their cinch and throw it on backwards like this, so that way the sweaty side is facing up. However, it is bending your cinch in the wrong direction. And you want to keep this shape to your cinch, which the girth keeper does that. So there is a purpose behind that little flappy right here. Another thing, as I'm walking back and forth, you'll see me walk real close back behind Cedar here. So there's 2 ways to walk behind a horse. Well, there's 3 ways, but we don't want to do the 3rd way. So I always say, if you can't go far, go close. Okay, so here's what I mean. See how there's maybe like, I don't know if you're going to see it, but there's maybe like 4 feet between the horse's rear end and this wall. So that means I can't go far, okay? If I was 4 feet out, he could definitely kick me at this point. He could reach me, okay? So walking back and forth here is kind of a danger zone. So if you can't go far, you go in. So what I mean by that is I always put my hand on the horse because you'll feel movement before you see it. So I do this and I go close. Okay? So that way if he does kick, all he's going to do is like give me a really good bump. He's not going to have a lot of leverage to really get his leg out there and do a lot of damage. So if you can't go far out, go close in. You put your hand on the tush and walk in close like that. Okay, so that is just a little safety step. As you guys are tuning in, say hey, let us know where you're tuning in from. We are in Benton, Tennessee, just about an hour outside of Chattanooga. Okay, has anybody ever been to Chattanooga? Let us know. So we are in Benton, Tennessee. It's a beautiful part of Tennessee, southeast Tennessee, I guess you can call it.
You got some people from Florida saying hi.
Florida, I used to live in Florida. Where at in Florida? Let me know.
Tampa.
Tampa. I lived in St. Pete, Florida. And really pretty area. Tampa's got a lot of stuff to do. I'm trying to think one of my favorite restaurants. The Getaway. That's in St. Pete. It's called the Getaway. And it is this cool kind of little hole-in-the-wall restaurant that is on the water. And all of the seating at the restaurant is in sand. And so you get to sit in your table and you can have a beer, sit in the sand, and be right on the water. And it's just a really cool lounge type place.
You have a pilot in St. Pete saying hello. Somebody in Ocala, Florida. You got Dayton, Ohio. Lots of people saying hello.
Hello, everyone. I have been to Ocala. I have driven the National Forest out Ocala National Forest in my Humvee. Done some trail riding out there. Lots of woods in Ocala. I've been camping in Ocala. Dayton, Ohio. I'm trying to think. I think I drove through Dayton not too long ago on my way to Michigan.
Somebody had the Sloth keeper yesterday and they said it was a great experience. You are welcome. Someone else, beautiful horse. And then we have Texas. They might know about some horses.
Texas. Believe it or not, I used to live in Texas too. Let me know where at in Texas. I was just outside of San Antonio. A little town called Ingram. Somebody else said something that, oh, the horse. The horse's name is Cedar, by the way. So this is Cedar hanging out with us. We're going to show you guys a baby donkey here in just a minute, and we have another horse named Trick that we're going to show you. All right. If you guys have anybody wanting to learn more about horses or tack, equipment, things like that, go ahead and have them tune in for live with us. You can go ahead and send it out to them. Be like, hey, we're live. This is an awesome place. Come check it out. We also offer horse rides here at the farm. So the farm is called Ocoee Riverside Farm. You can book we have different horse riding packages that you can see all of that on our website and availability. We're just talking about tack right now. Tack is the equipment that you use on the horse. And we're talking about how to use it, some different ways to, I don't want to say techniques, but different types of tack and things like that, education. So this is called a breast collar. A lot of times you're going to see a breast collar used when you have trail riding or you're doing some kind of high level physical activity with your horse, because you don't want the saddle to be shifting and moving around, and it helps it keep in place a little bit better. So that's what a breast collar is. We're not going to be doing any kind of intensive activity today, but I personally just like the look of a breast collar on a horse. I really like this one too. I found it when I was going through the tack room, and I was like, that guy and put him on cedar. Because it looks so handsome on you, bud. So anyway, that's what this is a breast collar. And this little piece right here, if you have horses or you have a breast collar on that you use currently, this is called a withers strap or a wither strap here. And you can see it holds the breast collar at a better angle. So that way it doesn't slouch on his shoulders down here, which actually hinders his shoulder movement. So the wither strap holds it so it doesn't block his shoulder movement. So that's the purpose of this little strap here. Okay. All right, we're going to move on to Trip. We're going to saddle him up. Let me grab that.
Hey guys, while Fallon is grabbing the rest of the stuff, just a little reminder, we are located in Benton, Tennessee.
If it was my personal tack and my personal horse, I like to separate the two. So, and by the way, when you're setting a saddle down on the ground, if you guys want to look down here with me, get the right angle. If you ever put a saddle on the ground, you always want to do it this way with the horn down facing that. You never want to put a saddle like this, okay? Because it's going to mess the framing up in the saddle. And you don't want to do it this way because these are flexible, these leather pieces, and you don't want to bend them out of shape. Okay, so that is how you would put a saddle on the ground if you ever did. Okay, saddle pad. So I'm not going to go into saddle pads because that's a whole nother wormhole of conversation, rabbit hole. But if you ever need to adjust your saddle pad, here's the correct way to do it. So let's say this is too far back. What you don't want to do is you don't want to just scoot it forward like this. Okay? The reason why, the hair underneath here, and as I did that, it kind of pushed all this hair backwards. Okay? So you want the hair going in the direction that it's supposed to. It can cause sore spots. So if you need to adjust the saddle pad, and typically the preferred way is you set it up a little bit higher than what it needs to be, and then you pull it back like this. Okay? So that way it smooths the hair, and you're not pushing the hair the wrong way. Okay? So I was like going a little bit higher and then smoothing it back. So that would be correct. And then the front of the saddle pad is typically in the middle of their shoulder, or this area of the horse, right here. Okay, so in that line. Oh, sorry, buddy, I poked you with my nail. This is too far back. Okay, it's out of that line. This is too far forward. Right in the middle. Okay. Also, I talked earlier about having all of your equipment in the girth keeper on this little tab here. Another reason why you want to do that is it keeps it from slapping the horse when you put the saddle over, which you don't want to do. So you kind of want to just set the saddle on. You don't want to throw it on. You don't want to do any of that either. Another secret that I always share anytime I'm training somebody is your latigo. So this piece is what you're going to strap the cinch to. However, when you put your saddle up, this is the correct way to keep your latigo. And I'll show you why. And I'll show you how to do it. When you're going to saddle your horse, all you do is grab the end, the tail end, pull, and then you can cinch up your horse. Versus, a lot of people just leave this hanging. Then you're going to be stepping on it, the horse is going to step on it, it's going to get damaged. You don't want to just loop it around because then you have to undo all this loop every time you go to do it. So here's how to do what I just had. Okay, you take this, just kind of pull it under, and then just tuck it through. Just like that. Okay? So then, now, when you're ready to use it, grab the end, pull it through, and it's a lot faster. And it keeps your latigo clean and undamaged. Okay, I always like doing a minimum of 2 loops. And then the correct knot. I think this is called a Texas T. I know it has a name, I just don't know what for sure it is.
You have a barrel racer saying hello.
Hello, barrel racer. How are you and where are you from? You know how to do all this. Typically, this piece is going to be a little bit longer. The trip here is kind of a big boy, so there's not a lot of extra belt space. But this little flappy here is where you would keep the extra latigo so it's not flapping around. But this is too short to do anything with, and it can lay flat just like that, so that's just fine.
Your barrel racer is from Central Texas.
Central Texas, let's see, is that going to be Killeen area? Let me know. San Antonio area, that's about central-ish. And so we're going to take the horses out to the arena here a little bit and go ride. What I like to do is just put each horse's bridle on the horn of the saddle, so that way we can take it with us. And this way the reins aren't going to get stepped on, anything like that, so it's out of the way and in a safe spot. And you guys ready to see the baby? We have a baby donkey, Mr. Blackjack over here. Your baby! This is Blackjack. He just celebrated 6 months old. Oh, and he just stepped on my foot. That's my foot, bud. Good job, buddy. Look at them ears. Look at that little nose. Blackjack is so sweet. And we're training him so he can walk on a lead already. I'm training him to bow, and we're still working on that one, but he'll learn how to bow, and then when he's big enough to ride, he'll be able to bow down with the saddle on and make it easier for guests. Obviously, you're not going to have a big person on a standard-sized donkey, but kids can get on Blackjack a lot easier because he can bow down kind of to their level and then lift them back up. So that'll be cute. Hi, baby.
Your barrel racer is from Killeen, Texas.
I guessed it. I said Killeen.
Okay, I was like, I think that's what she's saying, but I wasn't sure.
I was like, are you from Killeen? That's about central. Ah, what a good guess. I know that area well. That's a military town, too.
All right, let's take a little break and then we'll be back.